During the holidays at both Universal Orlando and Hollywood parks, guests waited hours to get bullied by the Grinch for 3 minutes. In 2018, at Universal Studios Hollywood, the holidays were celebrated differently, taking place at Halloween Horror Nights and without the Grinch. This is the story of the Scare Zone Holidayz in Hell. 20 minutes away from the park on April 15th, 2018, during a panel at Monsterpalooza, a horror convention held in Pasadena, California, Universal Hollywood announced a new Scare Zone that would be featured at the 2018 Halloween Horror Nights event called Holidayz in Hell. The idea for the Scare Zone came from the 2014 Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood Scare Zone Dark Christmas. The Holidayz in Hell announcement would reveal the Scare Zone would be located in the Metro lot area of the park. During the announcement, it's revealed that the Holidayz in Hell Scare Zone takes park guests through major holidays in 2018, starting with the 2018 New Year's and ending with the Father of Time on New Year's Eve in 2018. A few months later, on August 8th, 2018, the official Halloween Horror Nights Twitter account shared a more concise description of the zone. And down on the Metro section of the backlot is Holidayz in Hell, which is a scare zone that takes you through horror versions of all the holidays of the year: Christmas, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, 4th of July, etc. I shared the designs at Monsterpalooza a while back. I have to say, as someone who's never stepped foot in Universal Studios Hollywood, trying to figure out where the Metro section of the park was harder than I expected. This whole upper and lower lot situation is so foreign to a Universal Orlando pass holder like myself, but one day I'll make it out to this park. Huge shout out to the people who responded to my community post on how to actually get to the Metro lot where Holidayz in Hell was located. In order to actually get there, guests would have to go down to the lower lot, and then they would walk towards Transformers. After this, they would need to make a right turn down the side of the Revenge of the Mummy ride building. Guests would then have to take a long walk to the Metro lot tunnel, which housed the Scare Zone Toxic Tunnel. Let me know if you want to see a video about that zone. Once getting through there, guests would approach the Holidayz in Hell Scare Zone, but before we walk through the zone, who was even in it? The Scare Zone featured 13 characters which represented 10 holidays. These characters appeared in calendar order and goes as followed: Cupid for Valentine's Day, a leprechaun for St. Patrick's Day, the Easter Bunny for Easter, El Señor and La Señorita for Cinco de Mayo, Uncle Sam for 4th of July, the Sheet Ghost for Halloween, El Moto for Dias de los Muertos, Turkey Lurkey for Thanksgiving, Nightmare Elf, Mrs. Claus, and Krampus for Christmas, and finally Father Time for New Year's Eve. The zone starts with a Holidayz in Hell sign attached to some form of a plastic mesh fence. One thing to note is that the Scare Zone is extremely linear in both theme and location. The zone starts with 2 grandfather clocks side by side, which signals the start of the new year. On top of one of the clocks is a mini skeleton who is holding a sand timer that is resting on top of the other grandfather clock. In the background, you can hear party blowers going off. While across from this, 3 skeletons are seen having a New Year's party. The next holiday is Valentine's Day, and smooth jazz is playing in the background as Cupid walks around taunting guests. There's a board sign with a skeleton couple, and next to both of them is the saying "To my Valentine." Cupid passes 2 mini stages with huge hearts, one of which has 2 of Cupid's victims hurt from his arrows. The second heart has a zombie type character who looks to be dressed up for a date. After passing both of the hearts, a cell type structure is seen with 4 victims chained up around a disco ball. Next up is St. Patrick's Day, and the first thing in this section is an art piece with a skeleton leprechaun tipping his hat and a quote that states, "The top of the morning to you." On the other side, there's a similar board sign that states St. Patrick's Day greetings, with a dummy wearing shamrock themed clothing. There's a shack with a fake leprechaun that appears to have hair over his eyes with his hands out. There's a wishing well across from the shack with a victim falling into it. In this section, a leprechaun walks around scaring guests with an end goal to get to the pot of gold. In the background, Irish music is playing. Guests then walk towards the Easter section of the zone, but the walk has multiple rainbow color lights, flashing to simulate a rainbow leading to the pot of gold. But I guess this gimmick only makes sense if you start your walkthrough on the other side. The Easter area starts with a figure dressed in a bunny costume with the words "Trick or Treat" in blood on it. Next to this are 2 chained up structures with dummies in both of them dressed in bunny costumes similar to the first one. The Easter Bunny character for this zone walks around in a polka dot green vest, threatening to hit guests with a baseball bat. An egg display is seen further down with a demonic looking llama sitting on top of it. That ends the Easter section, which I could argue could also be a bunny, but it looks like a llama to me, so I don't really know. In the Cinco de Mayo section, there are 4 skeletons dressed in all black wearing sombreros. These are all scattered throughout the walkway. One of the skeletons is sitting on a covered wagon with a banner on it that says Cinco de Mayo. In this section of the zone, El Señor and La Señorita walk around taunting guests. Towards the end of the Cinco de Mayo area, a woman's skeleton is seen sitting at the top of a stack of boxes. The zone shifts into the next section, which is based on 4th of July. This section is full of red, white, and blue lights. and for some reason the area reminds me of the Purge election year movie. I know this has nothing to do with it, but maybe it's the fact that Uncle Sam walks around pretending to hit guests with an axe. On both sides of the path are two American flags, which are lit up from the red, white, and blue lights. One side has two dummy kids with their face burnt off from messing around with the fireworks, and the other side is the Statue of Liberty with a broken bottle in her hand instead of a torch. The zone quickly transforms into the Halloween section, where a wolf-type creature is seen holding a bloody woman on top of a few gravestones. Next to this is a row of sheet ghosts that are stationed in a group. A scare actor version of the sheet ghost roams around the area, and normally when I'm making these haunted house and scare zone retrospective videos, I don't really get scared, but the scare actor actually made me jump, so whoever is performing here, props to you. On the other side of the group of static sheet ghosts is a fence with the words Happy Halloween written across it. Stacked up against the fence is a plethora of unlit jack-o'-lanterns, including one that mimics a scarecrow. The scare zone instantly shifts from Halloween to Dia de los Muertos, with two blacklit skeletons in a cover walkway. El Muerto quickly runs around in the cover walkway, but some walkthroughs they are nowhere to be found and it's just the two fake hanging skeletons. This section is pretty short and changes into Thanksgiving rather quickly. I'm just going to cut the chase. What in the world is this turkey monster? Turkey lurkey? I'm going to be honest, I laughed out loud when I first saw this. Like, what is this? The turkey's nose is so funny to me. Anyway, back to the Thanksgiving section. A wheelbarrow starts the section filled with boxes and fall colored leaves. Oh yeah, and there's also two dummy pilgrims on here that are being eaten alive by the turkeys. Next to them is a dummy wrapped in leaves upside down on a cross, and beside them is an angel statue, as well as another cross, but this time there's a skeleton on it. On the other side of all of this is another collection of skeleton crosses, but one of them has a circle around them. The Christmas section of the scare zone is by far the most active from a scare actor perspective. The area plays classic Christmas music in the background with multiple displays of Christmas lights. The first two each showcase a demon-looking elf next to a possessed snowman. This is really niche, but the snowman on the left reminds me of the You Can't Scare Me monster from Goosebumps. No, okay, let's just move on. The area of the scare zone features the following roaming monsters: the Nightmare Elf, Mrs. Claus, Krampus, and Father Time, who is supposed to wrap up the scare zone, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. There are also two scare actors dressed up in ugly sweaters who run at guests, but I'm not sure what their official character names were. Back to the Christmas light displays. After the snowmen, there are two sets of Christmas tree racks. Both of them have humans who are wrapped up in Christmas tree bags, and in the middle of all of this is the abominable snowman. The final main Christmas display, I'm not including the scattered Christmas trees across the area, is a full Santa sleigh with a set of skeleton reindeer. Santa is sleeping on the sleigh, ignoring all the chaos happening around him. The zone ends with a grandfather clock signaling the new year, and typically Father Time would run out from behind the clock scaring guests. If you enjoyed this video, please check out the full detailed walkthrough I made about the 2022 Halloween Horror Nights Haunted House, The Weekend After Hours Nightmare. I think you'll like it a ton.